Now, there's no question that some of the things USAID has done are dumb, no question about it. But to brand the whole thing a criminal enterprise, throw the baby out with the bathwater, is that really the best way forward? Hey there, one thing about the MAGA crowd is the unbelievable hypocrisy that some of them show. What do I mean by that? Well, let's go to the videotape, starting with Marco Rubio. For years, of course, the senator from Florida, now Secretary of State. Here's what he said about a dozen years ago about something that perhaps you've now heard of, the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. Again, here's Rubio from a dozen years ago.
We don't have to give foreign aid. We do so because it furthers our national interest. That's why we give foreign aid.
A lot of times people say, well, cut foreign aid. Foreign aid is less than 1% of our budget. But foreign aid can make a difference when properly used. It will not be easy to radicalize people who are alive because the American taxpayers save their lives and the lives of their children.
That's right. For decades, just a little bit of money, less than 1% of the entire federal budget, in fact, less than 1%, has helped win hearts and minds around the world. Less than 1% promotes America, promotes peace, fights diseases, and a lot more. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than fighting wars, and Rubio knows this better than anyone. He spent years on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee seeing this with his own eyes, traveling the world, seeing the power, the value, the influence of just a tiny bit of American aid. So that was a dozen years ago, but here's what Rubio says now.
My frustration with USAID goes back to my time in Congress. It's a completely unresponsive agency. It's supposed to respond to policy directives of the State Department, and it refuses to do so.
What does he think, that no one remembers what he said a dozen years ago? That the videotape from back then doesn't exist? But Rubio's not the only one who's developed schizophrenia. The Trump family itself worked closely with USAID during Trump's first term in office. His eldest daughter, Ivanka, for example, was deeply involved with a program designed to help women entrepreneurs abroad. The program was called WGDP. Here's a video released by none other than the Trump White House.
WGDP stands for the Women's Global Development and Prosperity Initiative. We said, you know what, let's take a holistic approach, the first ever all-of-government approach to unleashing what is inarguably the most underutilized resource in the developing world, the power, the potential, the grit, and the genius of the world's women.
Again, thanks to the Trump White House for that video. And the First Lady, Melania Trump, also lavished praise on USAID during a trip she took to Africa. Here's what she said, quote, "We care and we want to show the world that we care, and I've partnered and I'm working with USAID," she said. So the good work of USAID around the world, recognized and endorsed by the Trumps. This decades-long track record showing America's best side to the rest of the world helps explain why brutal dictators, I'm talking about Russia's Vladimir Putin, China's Xi Jinping, and others, they hate USAID. They'd like it gone. Why? Because they can't compete with the American values that USAID for decades has spread to every corner of the globe, and again, for very little money. But now, all of a sudden, President Trump, Rubio, and virtually all Republicans, in fact, want to trash USAID, get rid of it, and the Americans working around the world to promote American values. Why? Because Elon Musk says so. USAID is a, quote, criminal organization, he tweets. Time for it to die.
Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that.
Now, there's no question that some of the things USAID has done are dumb, no question about it. But to brand the whole thing a criminal enterprise, throw the baby out with the bathwater, is that really the best way forward? Should we really pretend that decades of overall good work around the globe counts for nothing? Why do you think Russia and China hate USAID as much as Trump and Musk seem to? Why are we doing our enemies in Moscow and Beijing a favor like this? You tell me.